Hello, welcome to another of our GUNi-Africa in Higher Education series. This episode is about the CHEA International Quality Group Quality Principles. CHEA is Council for Higher Education Accreditation, and it has the International Quality Group, CIQG. We will mean CIQG has developed through a bottom-up approach a set of quality principles, 7 of them, addressing stakeholders in higher education and other issues. We shall be looking at perspectives from Africa, from different stakeholders on the 7 quality principles. We are sure you are going to benefit one thing or the other from this episode. Enjoy.
Let us begin with 3 opening questions. Question number 1. What is CIQG? CIQG is expanded to CHEA International Quality Group. CHEA is Council for Higher Education Accreditation. So CIQG is a forum where colleges, universities, accrediting and quality assurance agencies address issues and challenges that relate to quality and quality assurance in an international setting. Now, the group that advises CIQG, that's the CHEA International Quality Group Advisory Council. These are the people, the members from all over the world, all regions of the world are represented. The inaugural chair of the council is Sir John Daniel. And of course, you have the president of CHEA herself, Judith Eaton, here. And this is Stamenka Uvali-Strumbich, the chair, the senior advisor on international affairs of CHEA. Now, Africa is, of course, represented here. And there's China, Egypt, and everywhere else. And the current chair of the advisory council is Africa. Well, what do you mean Africa? I mean Peter Okebukola for this year. Second question. What is the purpose of the 7 quality principles? Well, it's only to serve as basis for discussions, deliberations about quality in higher education and to inform discussions at the country level, regional level, international level, and to involve audiences such as academics, higher education providers, professionals, students, employers, everybody. Question number 3, that's the heart of the matter. Now, what are the 7 quality principles? I'm going to give you this answer, but it's going to wait for 1 or 2 more minutes. In developing the quality principles, it went through, as we said in the introduction, through a bottom-up approach. Very many people were consulted. The initial principles were shared across the world, added, deleted, and so on. And on the 3rd of August 2015, there was a webinar on the principles. It was attended by a large number of persons, stakeholders in higher education from all over the world. We had a question and answer session where the leader of the team, Judith Eaton, with others, Stamenka Uvali-Strumbich, Sir John Daniel, and I, answered some questions posed to us from the community of scholars and practitioners. And this is the website of the group. So we GUNi-Africa conducted Africa-wide survey of stakeholders in higher education on the 7 quality principles. So now let's go on to the principle. Principle number 1 relates to quality and higher education providers. Assuring and achieving quality in higher education is the primary responsibility of higher education providers and their staff. So, what did the higher education stakeholders in Africa give as their perspectives to this quality principle?
I am Folusho Akishola. First, I'd like to congratulate CIQG for the development of the 7 quality principles, which I agree with. I'd like to make a few comments on principle number 1, which is quality and higher education providers. The question is, how can these principles be applied? As an international higher education provider myself, I believe these principles can be applied by providing quality human and material resources. Human resources in terms of teachers and managers. Material resources by ensuring that good laboratories, classrooms, and teaching learning resources are provided in the right proportion. And also that quality students are recruited into the program. Of course, there is the issue of the policy. There must be policies in place to drive the system. And if all these are applied and ensure that the policies are monitored, there must be proper monitoring of all the resources that have been put in place. If all these are properly monitored, the higher education program can be properly assured. Once again, congratulations to CIQG, and I wish you success. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Ossi Lindqvist. I'm the former chairman of the Finnish Higher Education Evaluation Council, and we actually built the Finnish system at that time, after the year 2000. And I've been working a lot in Africa, in African context, in research, and meeting African colleagues and universities in many parts of Africa. So what's the role of the providers in terms of quality of higher education? The providers are looking for, especially at the competitiveness of our universities, of our higher education, in terms of good teaching, in terms of innovations, in terms of work with the business, in terms of providing materials, students for civil society. So there are many facets that the providers expect from us, but competitiveness in the widest term is the key word to my mind.
My name is Sewano Bankole, one of the higher education providers in Ogun State. I agree with the quality principle number 1 on higher education providers. How do I use this principle, quality number 1? I use the principle in providing infrastructure for a school, provision of fund, employment of quality, qualified and experienced teachers. Infrastructure is also provided, and I make sure there is a good environment for the students.
Yes, that does it for quality principle number 1. Now let's move on now to quality principle number 2, which relates to students, quality and students. The education provided to students must always be of high quality, whatever the learning outcomes pursued. So African students, what do you say?
My name is Fred, our Secretary General of the All African Students Union. So with regards to quality principle 2, which pertains to students, the All African Students Union endorses such. We think that to be able to achieve that, there is the need to involve students in all of the processes. For instance, in the establishment of minimum academic standards, we expect that students be involved so that we know what gets into it, so that we can also contribute towards achieving such. We also think that accreditation should not be devoid of students. Students must be involved in the accreditation processes to ensure that we make our input, and as such, we will be able to abide by every rule and regulation that has to do with the accreditation standards. I also think that to have real quality, students should be given the opportunity to evaluate their lecturers at intervals. This, we believe, will make lecturers lecture better and then input better towards making us good graduates for Africa and the world at large. Thank you.
I'm Olatunji Oluwakemi Folashade, a student of Lagos State University in Nigeria. I agree with quality principle number 2, which is quality and student. How does the student use this principle? The student can use this principle in the following ways. 1, students should be ready and willing to learn on themselves. 2, students should be able to ask for necessary assistance where necessary. And 3, students should avoid any form of examination malpractices like cheating and plagiarism, like copying in the examination hall and asking questions in the examination hall.
So thank you, dear students. Now, quality principle number 3. It has to do with society, quality and society. The quality of higher education provision is judged by how well it meets the needs of society, engenders public confidence, and sustains public trust. What does our survey show?
My name is Crispus Kiamba from Kenya. I have been the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. As you might know, this is the largest university in Kenya, the oldest indeed. Before being Vice Chancellor, I played many roles, among which was the Deputy Vice Chancellor for a period of 5 years. After the Vice Chancellorship, I got appointed as the Chief Executive of our Commission for University Education. This is the agency responsible for accreditation and quality assurance in the country. For 2 years, I proceeded then to be the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology. Again, this is the ministry's department responsible for coordinating the total university education, middle-level education, science, technology, and innovation. With respect to the quality of education, with special reference to quality number 3, I agree with that particular quality. The responsibility of universities to society, in particular quality and society. This is extremely important because universities are a creation of society, and they must therefore respond to the challenges of that society, the difficulties that society is facing, and indeed be part of the opportunities and successes of that society. It must gain the trust of the society, a university system, and therefore it's extremely important that that becomes a key quality issue responding to societal needs wherever the society is. In the case of Kenya, we were very sure that we had to respond to the critical issues that the society faced in Kenya, and doubtlessly we had to do a lot as the Vice Chancellor in managing and providing the necessary leadership in this institution to ensure we respond to what challenges Kenyan society faced. But effectively, you are not only dealing with the country challenges. When you respond to challenges of one country, you are responding to global challenges. And I'm very pleased we did quite a lot. And I'm very happy to remember some particular elements of that challenge. Difficult, albeit it was, but we did rise to the occasion to ensure that the university provided the necessary leadership in providing sufficient, or at least we hoped, human resources that were qualified to participate in the development of Kenya, indeed the human society generally.
My name is Grace Oshun. I agree with quality principle number 3, which is on quality and society. How does society use this principle? I would say that members of the society should bring up their children properly, and this is part of the hidden curriculum. They can also contribute by endowing universities with professorial seats or giving prizes to students who have performed excellently.
Now to quality principle number 4, quality and government. Governments must have a role in encouraging and supporting quality higher education. So, what are governments in Africa doing? What are the perspectives of African scholars, stakeholders in higher education on this quality principle?
I am Professor Dixon Mwabanda from the University of Malawi. With regard to policy number 4 on the role of governments on the universities or higher education, I would like to agree that governments have a key role to play in ensuring that quality higher education is provided to its citizens. I want to say this because we have seen of late that in the case of Malawi, the President has on several occasions stated that higher education is key to the development of the nation, and as a result, he has also indicated that resources, financial resources, will be made available to higher institutions, and to expand access, he has allowed the widening of higher education through other modes like e-learning or DL to be explored fully. Another area that the President has mentioned on several occasions is research and innovations. And indeed, we are looking forward to the time when they'll put resources into this.
My name is Tapio Varis. I'm a university professor emeritus in Finland, University of Tampere. I have been working with African colleagues several times in South Africa, once in Nigeria, and also in Ivory Coast and in Kenya. My opinion of the government role in university and higher education is quality assurance, is that governments should emphasize the autonomy of universities, intellectuals, because the better results in education and research we get when we trust the university professors and we create a mutual respect and create a common view of how to improve our societies and guarantee peaceful, productive society.
My name is Akim Akintoye. I agree with quality principle number 4, which is on government, quality and government. How can government use this principle to better the current system? My suggestions are that government can provide and make sure that it plans our current system very well. That is number 1. Number 2, by providing financial and human resources. Number 3, by providing monitoring and evaluation in ensuring that everything is done perfectly well.
Now to quality principle number 5. I particularly like this quality principle because it has to do with accountability, quality and accountability. And it goes like this. It is the responsibility of higher education providers and quality assurance and accreditation bodies to sustain a strong commitment to accountability and provide regular evidence of quality. What are the perspectives on this quality principle from Africa?
My name is Professor Tony Bwete, the former Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Tanzania. On the quality principle number 5, I do appreciate the importance of the role of the providers as well as regulators in ensuring quality. However, I think in this particular element, the aspect of accountability is such a broad-based element that it requires that the owner of the university, in here I'm looking at the owner if it's a government or it is a private entity or indeed a religious-based organization or an entity, they have a role to play because no matter how many good plans you may put down, quite in accountability, if the owner is not ready to invest sufficient funds in making sure that quite element number 5 is realized, you as a provider, you will be doomed to failing to meet the requirements that the accrediting entity would require. And in any case, the issue of accountability is not determined by the provider alone. If the provider does not seem to worry about it, the general society that actually brings the students will actually call upon either the regulatory organ or the government or the providers, maybe the council and other bodies, to actually ensure that this is observed by the providers.
I'm on quality principle number 5, which is on quality and accountability. For higher education provider, all funds allocated for the sector should be used accordingly and prudently. There shouldn't be any diversion of any sort being encouraged by anyone at that level. And then they should ensure that their offerings from the beginning of each session in academic calendar is ensured throughout, in order to ensure that the effectiveness of students at that level is taken care of.
Quality principle number 6, here we come. I particularly like this one also. By the way, I like all of them. But the reason why I like this is because I've worked in the Quality Assurance and Accreditation Agency, and I've been doing quite some work in this area over the last several years. So it's quality and the role of quality assurance and accreditation bodies. It goes like this. Quality assurance and accreditation bodies working with higher education providers and their leadership, staff and students are responsible for the implementation of processes, tools, benchmarks, and measures of learning outcomes that help to create a shared understanding of quality. Now, what are the views of African stakeholders on this quality principle?
My name is Professor Tunde Olabi. I'm the President, Head of Department of Science and Technology Education. I want to speak on policy principle number 6, which is on quality assurance and accreditation. Yes, how do this body utilize this principle? First, I want to say here that there is need to produce a document on information with regards to the minimum requirements or benchmark. And secondly, it must also ensure strict compliance with this information benchmark. Then thirdly, there is need to provide high-profile academics who will ensure compliance or who will be involved in the accreditation process. Having done that, of course, the process of accreditation, the information or the products of the accreditation should be well communicated in form of feedback to the various institutions. I may also want to add that accreditation should be done per courses or program, holistically across institutions, instead of going to an institution and just taking all courses together. Thank you.
My name is Kosam Joseph. I'm in charge of quality assurance and the qualification framework of the Inter-University Council for East Africa. And regarding to principle number 6, I do fully agree the role of quality assurance, quality agencies and accreditation agencies. And that is what we in East Africa was the first step in bringing in the common understanding of quality in the region, where we had a dialogue involving all the key stakeholders ranging from policy and decision makers, permanent secretaries, ministers for education, university professors, leaders of universities, students, the labor market, and other government agencies, so that at least we have a common understanding on the concept of philosophy of quality and the relevance of education in general. But what I would want to add here, if you look at the purpose of these principles, is an issue of qualifications. I think when we are dealing now with principle number 6, since we are talking about accreditation agencies, it's important that the issue of qualifications also should be included in this principle number 6.
Last, and definitely not the least, is quality principle number 7, quality and change. Quality higher education needs to be flexible, creative and innovative, developing and evolving to meet students' needs, to justify the confidence of society and to maintain diversity. So we conclude our survey of African scholars with this principle. And what are the views?
My name is Tarirai Mavengere from Southern African Regional University Association, Sarua. I agree with quality principle number 7, which is on quality and change. And as an organization, Sarua also believes in quality higher education, which needs to be flexible, creative and innovative, and also to develop and evolve to be developed and to meet students' needs, to justify the confidence of society and maintain diversity. So we see that if this principle is met, then students will enjoy a good education.
So welcome back from our tour of Africa. By way of concluding remarks, we like to encourage you to use the quality principles to inform discussions on quality in your country, in your region, or internationally. We also want to ask you to attend the 2016 CIQG meeting in Washington, D.C. You'll get details if you Google CIQG. I would like feedback to our quality principles. The emails that you can address your inquiry to are as listed: Julian Eden, Stamenka Valistromich, Peter Okebukola, and Sir John. Now, we'd like to encourage you also to enroll in CIQG today. It's a forum for all of those progressives who want improvements in the quality of higher education in their countries. Now, this is the website for CIQG, CHEAinternational.org. That's the end of our episode for this wonderful exposition on the 7 quality principles of CIQG. Until next time, it is bye from here.